Good morning, and I hope you've been well, and this is part 101 of the Pokemon Rejuvenation V13.5 Let's Play. Set mode, no items, so yeah. So with that being said and done, let's go on ahead and talk to Aaron here about what we found. You have a concerning look on you. What did you find out? So the term Interceptor in this context comes from the Garufan culture. The Interceptor is someone who intercepts the phenomenon known as Fate's Passage. Fate's Passage, I've read about that before. It's the belief that everything in this world belongs to an already written destiny. Everything we do was already predestined. Correct. But the Interceptor is the one who lives outside of that law, the one that intercepts Fate's passage. But that's not all. According to the page I read, the Interceptor is usually called upon by the universe when the world is in immense danger. When this happens, the being is brought in to act as the judge of this world. They're seen sort of as a last ditch effort. The Interceptor has the ability to send the world into peace or destruction. The page also explained that there are usually weird phenomena surrounding the Interceptor. They appear and disappear as if they were just an apparition. When I read that, it reminded me of something that happened at Valor Mountain. Alon was thrown into a pit of lava. There's no way they could have survived it. But then out of nowhere, Alon appeared as if nothing ever happened. And then again, in the alternate timeline, Alon took the full blast of Melanie's attack. It should have obliterated them, but they appeared moments later without a single scratch. That also reminds me of something Alita told me. She said when Alon was with her in Kerados Mountain, they vanished. She couldn't find them no matter how hard she looked, but then one day they just up and appeared. I'm sorry, there's a lot I have to think about. Go ahead and do more investigations in the main room. Real quick, before I get into that whole thing, I really want to get into a spoiler rant about the Interceptor and dissecting that entire dialogue with Malia and Aaron, because, like, the Interceptor is definitely a big piece to this puzzle, or chess game, chessboard, whatever you want to call it. If not the most important piece. That's debatable, but either way, insanely important, and I really want to get into that. If you don't want to listen to this spoiler rant, that's totally fine. Go to the comment section below. There's going to be a timestamp for you to skip on to when I get to the end of my spoiler rant, so yeah, you've been warned. Alright, we are again in spoiler territory at this point. One final warning. It's going to get into some heavy spoilers. Go to the comment section below if you don't want to listen. You've been warned. Yup. Okay. So I went back to this point to reread again what they say just to like dissect it one by one. So the term Interceptor in this context comes from the Garufan culture. So it's a really interesting thing. You go back to old Earth, the Garufans. So it seems as if like they originally had like this idea, of okay, let's paint a picture for a second. And I don't know if I'm going to be right or wrong, but let's paint a picture together. Get out your easels, your paints, your brushes, like the famous Bob Ross has said multiple times throughout his entire series. Go get them out, paint a picture of me, and we're going to have a happy and delightful and joyful time together. Varaya is over here like, ah, yes, we did it. I could do my research with the souls. Arceus is gone. Yeah, 7 billion people are dead. Whatever. We can do whatever we want now. It's okay. We won. Oh, what's that? I just, killed the sustainer of all life. Me and all the other nations together. People are dying. Resources are dwindling. Pokemon are, like, evaporating out of, like, thin air. What? No, 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 no. And then she's like, okay, Interceptor, supercomputer. We can sustain life. We can create this thing now that if danger happens, We have this guy right here, or this girl right here, whoever is the Interceptor that is chosen for the role. We have them that if they decide we're good, we're chilling, we're gonna tilt it to good. If they're like, nah, this sucks, we're gonna end it in destruction. Game over, we're done playing this. It's an interesting thing to think about because, like, here's an interesting, like, road to walk and a picture to paint. Let's say, for an example, and again, it's known that, again, Varia with the supercomputer, weird, like, tablet thing, whatever you want to call it, again, was like, oh, like, I can't lose. I win all the time. It doesn't matter if this game failed. It doesn't matter. One day I'm going to get it right. And even if I get it right, I'm going to have so much fun. I want to do it again. I want to see a different version. I want to see a different way that this can get played out. I can make endless scenarios with Pokemon Rejuvenation. Because, like, as long as the whole thing with, like, the Interceptor and not like the Interceptor, but her world, her creation of the game is under, like, her control, she can go about it over and over and over. Like, again, she brought up before, like, oh, like, we did this, we did that, and then, within the Renegade route, sorry, not the Renegade, the Paragon, where, like, Malia was, like, kicking, like, the eye tablet thing, like, oh, like, karma's a blank and yada yada yada, and then Varia was like, well, I'm going to assume that's Varia potentially, or the AI computer thing that, like, took in for whatever that is. Let's just call it Varia for the time being, because I don't know what exactly it is. But the eye thing happens. It's like, oh, karma. That's interesting. I didn't think about that. That's a great idea. Come on in here. Come here, come here. Come closer. I'm going to try something weird. And it's probably going to be weird and wacky, but oh, how fun it's going to be. And it goes to show that, again, it's going on over and over and over again. Now, I promise I'm going to get into something. The Interceptor, going back to that whole thing, right? Garufan culture. It's an interesting thing because, like, with the amount of games that is, like, going on, there's, like, multiple Interceptors. Like, look at, for example, like, V, where she says, like, I am technically an Interceptor from dot 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 dot, whatever that number was. So, again, it wasn't only just a lot. There was another point that she was an Interceptor, which shows me that this whole predetermined timeline thing, like, it goes on forever unless there is a time where the Interceptor's like, nah, whatever, blow it up, I don't like it anymore, and then they just redo it again, and then, like it's insane, like, how many games are going on, how many scenarios have happened, like, how many before this have happened, because, like, you go into, I know I'm rambling about nonsense, but just stick with me here and enjoy the long ride. Like, it's been said before, like, the whole, like, reset thing, somebody reset the world. There was a timeline that things were going on, maybe not exactly what is going on here, but something different, or maybe the same thing was happening, but somebody was like, whatever, press the button, we're resetting it, and it did. It's just interesting to think about, like, how many times have this, game been played, the story's been played. Has it been the same over and over and over? Have there been different alternations of this? And I'm sure there are different alternations. There has to be. But going back to the Garufan culture, it's an interesting. I know I went on a giant tangent there, but it's interesting to think and see that, again, it's a Garufan culture, which implies that Varia, not only she thought about this elaborate game called Pokemon Rejuvenation and the supercomputer thing, and for everything to be under her control, her game, everything predetermined and predestined from start to finish, she also thought about this as well. And there's probably other things as well. Now, of course, as you know, there are cracks within the game. If you look at the seams, they're cracking. You can find where there are mistakes, there are issues. Why is that? Again, the project was rushed. They had to do it now. Neighboring nations were like, oh, get back here, Varia. You're not going to do that. And she's like, oh, no. Quick, get me in the computer. My 18 hosts, come on, come on. Oh, one of them died. Address, come here. In, now. And then you have Rejuvenation. It's an interesting thing to think about. that it's not only that, but also within, their culture, the Interceptor was a thing as well. Really cool to think about. The Interceptor is someone who intercepts the phenomenon known as fate's passage, and we kind of like talked about that a little bit. Again, fate is predetermined, right? Even though, Varaya, you know, tried that one thing with like Malia down within, that one area within her subconscious when she technically died by Melanie's attack. She was like, like fate could be whatever you want. Look, it's Emma right there. Like, are you just gonna stand there and die? No, get back up. But in reality, it's not that at all. That was all predetermined. It's a lie. That entire situation was meant to happen. It had to have happened. And Varai was like, oh, you're too important. Come on back to life. Come on, come on. And then it just continues onwards. Now, of course, technically she's saved by the golden light. Not really brought... I mean, I guess technically, yeah, brought back by Varai in a sense, but more so the golden light that's within her. But regardless, she technically died and she kind of like came back to life. And all of that was predetermined. It was set by Varaya to not let her die there. Because if she did, again, that would go against what the story entails. And I said it before, the people that have like free will and try to do random stuff, it normally doesn't end well. Unless like you're the Interceptor. You can do whatever you want. Like I go back to the whole thing with Madam X. Like I feel like there is free will, but there isn't free will, right? Because it's like Madam X, I know within I go back to this example all the time. The first chapter, where you go with Malia in the woods when she's like younger. Like you and I, like we're younger, we meet up with, Professor Jenner, Venom, yada yada. Our first time within Garen City pretty much. You go with her, you have the picnic, you do the battle, and then the weird eye thing appears. It turns green, and then everything starts to shake. I believe that there is a situation in a scenario that, let's say Team Z, Madam X is like, whatever. She's old enough. I'm not doing this anymore. I want her now. She takes Malia, or somehow they capture her, and then bad things happen down the line. It doesn't work. Why is that? Because it's not what Varaya had within her story. Madam X did things. It didn't pan out well, so she's like, whatever. Go back in time. I have the time diamond. It sucks. I don't want to do it. We came so far, but rewind. Go back. It's not meant to be this way. And then you have the whole thing that she actually does escape. And it answers the whole thing with, it's a question that I've had and many other players have probably had as well. That Madam X right here, right now, without a doubt in my mind, could have taken Malia. She's just stronger than her, plain and simple. Within the Doom timeline, she could have easily, done a thing like, all right, come here, Malia. Now, of course, there is a thing with, touching Malia, for an example, because of the whole golden light. I would assume that Madam X can't really do that. It has to be, because, like, again, like she brought it before, like, no matter what happens, don't touch the princess. Like, don't do it. Which implies that Malia has to be the one to start it, right? Not Madam X. Like, Madam X can, like, grab, like, her arm, like, all right, you're mine. I mean, she can, but I would assume it's not going to work. It's got to be the other way around. Now, why that is, that I don't know. And if it isn't that, then honest to God, I have no clue why Madam X at this point has not, like, taken her to, like, Team Z HQ and did whatever she needed to do to get that golden light. I don't know. But I would assume it has to be a thing that she has to be the one to initiate that contact. It has to be Malia. But, I don't know, like, it's an interesting thing to, like, think about, though, with, like, the Interceptor. That, like, again, there is free will to, like, an extent, but there also isn't, because, like, even though, like, how do I want to word it? It is free will, but it's not free will. Like, again, like, if Aaron and Malia were like, you know what? Let's go get some cheeseburgers today. Varai's like, all right, it's predetermined, man. Yeah, go get a cheeseburger. Or what if they're like, never mind, I want ice cream. Ah, yeah, it's predetermined. Cool. Yep, go get your ice cream. Like, again, like, they don't truly have free will. Like, it's weird. I feel like they do, but they don't. And every action, again, like it's stated before, is something that is already predetermined. It's already set in stone. It's going to happen. But if you want free will, again, you have to do everything right with karma and whatnot, and then, the whole blooming and wilting thing. So, yeah, and it goes into the whole, like, thing, though, that I said before. I don't know if Raya is good or not. I would say she has good intentions, but she goes about it in, like, a very interesting and an approach that most humans would not agree with. Because, again, like, Spacia and Tempa has said it before, like, we're doing this for the best for everybody. And then Malia is like, yeah, I don't want to be a part of that anymore. That's crappy. That sucks. You're taking advantage and you're manipulating people. It's the same thing, kind of like with like Variety, for an example. It's like, it's got to be this way. I want to have my fun, of course, but yeah, sure, I've caused pain, yada yada yada. It's life. Sorry, but it's got to be this way. It has to be. Why? Because again, her timeline of old Earth was dying out. It had to be this way. And she kind of like realizes that, okay, the hard decisions have to be made. They have to. We can't go backwards. If I go backwards, we're doomed. Game over. But it's okay though, because I'm in this cool little computer. It doesn't matter anymore. I can't lose. Now, of course, I do think whenever they do the whole thing with like the true ending, which I got like a comment about it before that I guess like Jane is going to be doing something like that. But let's just say like a true ending, a good ending, a bad ending, and then let's just say the worst ending. Like I think like 3 or 4 different like endings pretty much is what is planned. I don't know if that's true or not, but I think I read that from a viewer that said it was a part of like a Q&A if I'm not mistaken. But anyways, I would assume the true ending some way, shape, and form is going to be like actually getting out of her control, whether she wants to allow it or doesn't want to. Either way, we get out of that. Free will is truly restored within the world. The good ending is probably, like again, beating Team Zen, stopping Indred, but again, things are still predetermined. It's still under her control. Bad ending, probably, the Renegade route, and then the worst ending, probably some weird abomination of just making every bad choice possible. That would be my guess. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I don't know what Jane has in store with all of that, but yeah, it's interesting to think about with Fate's Passage and all of that. Fate's Passage, I've read about that before. It's the belief that everything in this world belongs to an already written destiny. Everything we do was already predestined. We kind of like already like went into that. So right now it's just a theory, it's belief, but we don't know that for certain. And it's kind of hard to believe at this point. But unfortunately, within Karma Files, they find the truth that it is in fact a real thing. It is predetermined. Correct, but the Interceptor is the one who lives outside of that law. The one that intercepts Fate's passage. And again, we touched on that a little bit earlier, that if I wanted to go for the Renegade or the Paragon, I'm able to do that. You, the player, are able to do that as well. It is your choice, and again, as they said, it is up to the mercy of the Interceptor. But that's not all. According to the page I read, the Interceptor is usually called upon the universe when the world is in immense danger. Now, that line right there is a very interesting line in my opinion, because honestly, let's paint another picture. Why not? You have the whole thing at the beginning, Vitus, Nimra, Canon is born to be a servant, things are going on, and then war happens, and then the archetype is stolen. Indred has, kids with the archetype, gets split into 4 pieces, something happens with Storm 9, yada yada. And then, things go on, and then we kind of get into the picture when things are going from bad to worse, and here we are now. What's an interesting thing is, let's say, like, let's just say you get the good ending, that the predetermined timeline continues. Here's like an interesting thought. Let's just say, it's all predetermined. Varia can't lose. Malia, Aaron, all of them, they live their lives. They grow old, pass away, unfortunately. And then the next generation happens. And then another problem happens. And then a new interceptor. Like, again, like the interesting thing that I'm trying to paint is like it is a infinite loophole. I don't know if I worded that whole thing right, but like it is an infinite thing as far as Varia wants it to go. Like again, if they're out of the picture, she's like, "Oh, that was really fun. All right, new people, new story, new villain that appears out of nowhere. Let's have the pro tag. Clara, come on in. Yep, you're Clara. The main lead. Yeah, Malia was cool. Let's have a new like person. How about a male? Brad, come on in. You're gonna be the new important guy. Clarissa, come on in. You're gonna be one. Clark, yep, come on. Like, it's interesting because like I feel like if everything sticks to that, and everything like grows like old, and things start to like change and whatnot, it still stays within that control, and new story can happen, and then a new one, and then a new one, and then a new one. Again, she can have as much fun as she can for as long as she wants. She at this point is untouchable. Now, I'm not saying she's invincible or immortal. I'm sure there's going to be something down the road that we're able to stop her. But until that point arrives, we're not touching her. It's not happening. I don't know. It's just a really interesting thing to just like talk about and think about, honestly. And I don't know if others have thought about that idea or not. And I might be wrong. I might just be being stupid right now, which is fair. I'm overflowing with stupidity. But it's fun to talk about. It's interesting to think about. The universe when the world is in immense danger. Because again, like let's say like, you know, good ending, let's say and of course I know like Jane is not gonna do like another like rejuvenation whatnot. Of course. I think he's talked about doing like another game once rejuvenation's done, just not as large. I don't know if it'd be Pokemon related or not, but besides the point though. It's just one of those things, like going back to it though, whatchamacallit. Like, I really do think like if it does stay intact, the whole supercomputer thing, it technically is endless. They could like all of us could like die out, grow old, yada yada yada. And then like new people come in and it starts a whole new story. As long as she and that computer is a thing, or AI thing, statue thing, whatever you want to call it, as long as that's still intact and, you know, running at full force and full power and yada yada yada, there is an endless amount of stuff that she can do. When this happens, the being is brought in to act as the judge of this world. They are seen sort of as a last ditch effort. The Interceptor has the ability to send the world into peace or destruction. The page also explained that there are usually weird phenomena surrounding the Interceptor. Right, so of course, you know, like they said before, if you go to that secret area down below under the water, within, it's like near Tesla Resort, um Aquamarine Cave, it's like behind that area. You can go underwater with the enigmatic key, whatever you want to call it. um we can't really do that right now, but we will in the future. There's a thing like 4 different books that explain 4 different things, which we will go there and do a spoiler thing on that at some point. um but in one of the books it's like, hey, if the Interceptor leaves the planet, yeah, doomed, sorry. If they die multiple times, done, game over. you you just damaged the core too much. That's not a good thing, we don't like that. And yeah, game over. And it implies that while they have a lot of power, you're not invincible, you're not immortal, you can be beaten. So within her mind she's probably thinking, oh well, they die multiple times, so they could do this over and over. But in reality, kind of like a similar case to her with the Genesis syndrome, you know, disease that she has that is killing her slowly but surely. Alon, the Interceptor, you, I, whoever's playing the pro tag, in a sense, like, we're not dying, but if we fail too many times, yeah, it's wraps. Game over. Done with. Now, of course, there's a whole thing with like Crescent being like a part of it as well, but I'm not going to get into the whole Crescent thing here. But the point is, sticking with us though, we're not immortal, we're not invincible, we can die, we can lose, and we can definitely screw up some stuff if we don't get it right. When I read that, it reminded me of something that happened on Valor Mountain, right? Thrown into the pit of lava, then Melanie's attack. She said when Alon was with her in Gyarados Mountain, they vanished. So, going off of this one's a really interesting one, because while that is true, technically we more so vanished because of Gothitelle, Crescent, pretty much. Well, Crescent didn't really do that. It was Gothitelle just kind of like teasing Crescent. Because, like, again, like, Gothitelle was like, yeah, that's not the real Alon. Your emotions are running high, you're being dumb, but I'm gonna be playful about it. And of course, Crescent doesn't really find out until, like, Karma Files, when she just goes, like, ballistic and mad, you know, trying to, like, chop us down with, like, that axe thing or whatever, so... yeah, so... it's just, like, one of those things that, it's just interesting to kind of like talk and think about on that whole thing, because like, I mean, no, I was gonna say like maybe I'm wrong on that, but I'm pretty sure that was just like Gothitelle like just doing that just to be funny. She couldn't find them no matter how hard she looked, but then one day they just up and appeared. Maybe I'm wrong, but I think that was more so like Gothitelle's doing. I'm sorry, there's a lot that I have to think about. Go ahead and do more investigations in the main room. I think that's pretty much it. I went on a long tangent there, but the Interceptor is definitely something that is really fun to talk about and very interesting. So, yeah, we'll stop there. I'm done with my rants and rambles and stupidity. Alrighty, we are out of spoiler territory now. Sorry for the long rant and stupidity for like 20 something minutes, but like I said, talking about the Interceptor is something that's really like intriguing and fun to me, so yeah. Anyways, like I said, we're out of spoiler territory. Let's continue on. Malia, one last thing. Yes, what is it? Do you trust Alon? With all of my heart. If it weren't for them, I wouldn't be here right now. I see. Carry on. Guess it's back to investigating. Now, depending on your friendship points, that would have been different. I guess I can like go through that real quick. Yeah, when Aaron asked Malia if she trusts a player, Malia has at least 45 points. That's plus 6. That's the max that you can get with Aaron. Malia has between 10 and 44. That's plus 2. And then Malia has less than 0 points. Is minus 6 for Aaron. So if you're doing like the Renegade, then there you go. But yeah. Anyways, let me see. Sorry, I have a lot to think about. Why don't you check out the main hall? Oh, don't mind me. I've just been sorting some books. Okay. Kind of surprised. I guess we'll go this way then. I kind of hope they didn't take out a certain scene though. That would kind of suck. I didn't even notice that there before. Ma'am? I certainly see that. Alright, I'll play along with your game. Wait, this box hasn't always been here, has it? Please don't be a bomb. Okay, not a bomb. Seems to be a note in here and two weird looking coins. Let's take a look. Hidden beneath the floral and pink, the truth of the abyss lies within. Hidden beneath the what? What a strange note. Well, alright, I guess I'll start looking for this truth. Hidden beneath the floral and pink, the truth of the abyss lies within. Oh. Well, yeah, here we go. Whoa, I did not see you back here. Are you the one the Puppet Master told me about? You know about the Puppet Master? Then that means that the box was from... Defeat me in battle and you'll find out the truth. I'm ready. Alright, I'm ready. Let's do this. Let's see here. Interesting that you haven't got the tell. I should probably make a note too. Just so I could timestamp this battle. A heavy slam is fine. Crit definitely mattered, but I'm just gonna run with it. Let's go for high horsepower. I'm okay with that trade, honestly. Unity is a great Pokemon to lead into, or to throw into the battle. I love Pokemon. There we go. How come it's a Dragon type move now? Does it do it based off of... I guess like it's like main typing is what it's based off of. Well, no, because like it's Dragon here, not Dark. Either way, we'll just go for it. Oh, 2 HP, nice. Don't really matter what you go into. Alright, here's the truth. Thank goodness, I can go home now. Anyway, here's the truth. Bring the Nightmare Medallions to the library at midnight tonight. Bring the medallions to the library? You mean the coins in that box? And why midnight? I don't know. Good luck doing that. The library's closing tonight for some weird reason. We'll think of something. Thanks. Alrighty then. You got anything to say, miss? No? Alright. Go ahead and heal. Real quick, I don't think you can actually walk on out of here, right? Exit's locked. Guess that's why they call it a lockdown. Oh. Right. Wait, what? Hello and welcome to... Oh, so they did keep this in. I brought it up on the last episode. Okay. What can I do for you again? Sorry, but I just wanted to ask you more. I told you that I don't have any more info. Please let me do my job. Got it. Okay, so they did keep that in. Gotcha. I think that's pretty much everything else. I think so. Oh. Oh, excuse me, I'm sorry. All good, don't worry about it. Hey, you're here with that Erin girl, right? Hmm? Oh yeah, I am. We're here working together on something. That's a relief. Erin's finally found a friend. Huh? Am I missing something? Erin's been sort of a regular guest here at the Antheum. Not today. Every day she walked in here, go up those stairs, and read alone. It was really strange to me at the time. I asked myself, doesn't she have any friends? So one day I went and asked her if everything was okay. At first she tried to shoo me off, but I'm a persistent gal. Eventually she became annoyed to the point where she opened up herself to me. It turns out Erin's peers bullied her to the point of depression. Hey, Erin, why are you so smart? Only nerds are that smart. Who dresses you? Your mother? Careful, Monica. I heard that Erin doesn't have a mom. Boo hoo. I heard she doesn't have a dad either. Can you believe that? What a loser. Hey, Erin, where are you going? Don't leave without us. Chase her. Ah, Erin, stop crying. It was only a joke. What would your mom say if she saw you like this? Your dad would probably off himself before admitting you were his daughter. Oh look, it's Erin. How many rocks can her big head take before it cracks open like an egg? Let's find out. Please stop. Please stop hurting me. Now, just to point it out there, I won't get into it, of course, but keep in mind and notice that her hair being more of a blonde color in that whole thing with her being younger versus now her having white hair. So yeah, just kind of keep that in mind that her natural hair color is blonde. And then if you did do the whole thing after battling and beating Keita, you can go back to the Mongolia library. Or is it Mongolia? Whatever the library is called, within Guernsey City. You can actually find her with light blue hair. Talk to her, Absol comes in, they both walk out. By doing that little scene with her, which it is very missable. If you have not done it at this point, you can't do it anymore. But doing that triggers a thing that she gets friendship points with you further down the line. So yeah, kind of interesting to think about, but just wanted to point that out there. Ostrich. I'm not gonna try pronouncing that. Tease from people she turned to books. This place was a safe haven for her. I knew Erin seemed sort of introverted, but I never would have thought it was the result of bullying. She always has this hardened attitude filled to the brink of confidence. In that regard, I was jealous of her. Sometimes all that can be a show, or perhaps that's just what her past turned herself into. But I'm glad she found someone as nice as you. Thank you for telling me all of this. No problem. Please look after her. I will. And I will say that's really kind of her to, like check up on her and at least try to be a friend. Erin. Erin. Hold on, I'm writing down theories down in my notebook. What you thinking? I'm not telling you. You'll just blatantly follow what I'm thinking, and that's stupid. Plus, what I have is probably baseless conjecture. Now about that thing we have to do that you mentioned before. We have to come back here with those 2 nightmare medallions at midnight. Midnight, huh? Alright, guess we gotta be here at that time then. But how? I heard the library is closing tonight. What? This library is usually open 24/7. That's weirdly inconvenient. Whatever, we'll just hide here until everyone leaves. Where are we going to hide? Leave that to me. See? Wasn't that easy? The people here don't really care. They nonchalantly check if everything's turned off and then leave. How do you know so much about this place, Erin, or Library Erin? Let's just say this place used to be my second home. You learn a few things when you're here all the time. It's just about midnight and we have the medallion, so guess we should take a look around. Well, that's new. Gotcha. I'm right behind you. What are nightmare medallions anyways? I used to see this lady sell them in the night market for pretty cheap. Apparently it's supposed to give you nightmares 100% of the time if you have them near you. That's awful. Who would buy these? Disturbed people or kids trying to lucid dream probably. They look for an opportunity for a better view, a better world in their view. Dreams or aspirations or curiosities brought to a pseudo-plane of existence. Those who are tired of this world yearn for a side where the grass is always greener. And in many cases it is so. You must be the puppet master, or at least a subordinate of his. What? I am his subordinate, yes. And you, Aaron and Malia, have an appointment with him. Dream a dream so grand it becomes a nightmare. Well, that's a bro moment. Hey. Hey, are you with me or not? That voice, it's Aaron's. Come on, wake up already. It's bad enough I can't move. Huh. Where are we? Your guess is as good as mine. I don't know how we ended up here. But I bet it has to do with that that person in that puppet master's garb at the library. Not to alarm you, but I can't move. Yeah, I said that already. It's just you, me, and that projector. Oh, hey, we get to watch a movie. Oh, well, that's new. I'm really curious on where that's going. You see Malia, looks like she's holding some red flowers, roses perhaps. It's kind of interesting with them not being able to move. It's almost like sleep paralysis in a sense. I will say, man, sleep paralysis is such an interesting thing that happens. I don't know if there are people that watch the videos that have like experienced it. With me, it is such a weird thing. I don't know if it actually is a thing. I had a friend of mine. She was like talking to me about it. She's like, you know, like you may have like a chronic thing with like the amount of like sleep paralysis that I get. I on a yearly basis, at least like once or twice a month. It is the most weird thing with me, and I don't know why. Sometimes like it's just regular sleep paralysis, nothing really happens. But then of course you get the cool looking people, you know, like the shadow dudes, you know, the like tall people, they're on the wall, they're just like right in your face. It is such a weird thing. And it's kind of like odd because like, well, many probably are afraid of it, which is valid because like it is a wacky experience. I just gotten to the point that I'm like, I don't know, like I find it like kind of like cool in a sense because it's like, oh hey, a new guy, you're kind of cool and weird looking, you know. It's so odd. I can go on and on about that, but yeah, I don't know. I'll leave it at that. But I assume what's going on here is similar to like being in like a state of sleep paralysis. Isn't that you? Oh, what? Um, that looks a whole lot more like Maria. Wait, no, that's not me. Yeah, that really looks like Maria. I wonder. I don't. She was. That is weird. And I don't know what to make out of that. Like, what even, like, was that? Like, clearly that looked. I would say that was Maria, but older. But of course, like I've had theories about all of that and whatnot. But like what even like was that? She was holding flowers. There was a crowd there, and then something happened. What did we just watch? And of course, like Erin's kind of like having a bro moment because like she recognizes that or recognizes her. The dreams of one long lost into the echoes of the void itself. That's interesting. The dreams of one long lost into the echoes of the void itself. But with hopes and dreams long forgotten, a semblance remains. That is a huge hint. That is huge, actually. You like to say a lot of words that don't make sense without context. Daylight comes and thus we fade away. Your truth will be known soon. That is so interesting. They really did like change it up. I guess like slight spoilers on that, honestly. Yeah, why not? Go to the comment section below if you don't want to listen. So again, spoilers here, and I'm gonna try not to make it as long as the first one that we did. But that is super interesting. How back then, like they had like the weird like puppet dude like chasing after them, but with this one, it's different. Alright, sorry for the pause there, by the way. I had to go check the oven. Anyways, we're back now. Back to the spoilers. It's an interesting thing how they... It's hard to word, because it, like, back then, again, they had the word chase scene, and then you ended up in the one room, but with this one, they give you, like, a slideshow. They put you into this weird sleep paralysis thing, but then they show a girl, a woman. Maria. It has to be Maria. Or maybe Marionette. Maria, Marionette, Tomato, whatever you want to call her. But then, you know, the whole thing happens. Her life changes. Why? Indrid happened. So she never really got to be within, like, this life, this story. She wasn't able to. But again, you know, the one dude was like, hey, you know, there's still a semblance of that. Even though she's mostly lost to the void now, there's still a semblance there. And that goes into the whole theory of Malia being the reincarnation of Maria. I don't know if that's exactly it. I don't know if it's like a DNA thing similar to Zeta. I don't know. But in one way, shape, and form, Malia, I think, has some connection to Maria. It has to be. I go back again, chapter 3 in the prologue, some of the most important pieces within this entire story. And probably, like, my two favorite, like, chapters. Well, I know the prologue isn't really a chapter, but you get the point. But, anyways, you go through that whole thing with the prologue, and as I said before, whether it's Nimra that interrupted the whole thing with Vitus about the sacrifice, Maria or Marionette for his love for God and Arceus and yada yada yada, either Nimra or Madame X or somebody, something interrupted the ritual, and then Malia happened, and then I assume one or the other, you know, like snatched up Malia, and then we're just gone with the win. It's kind of like weird because it's like with Nimra, it's weird because like Vitus won against her, so like why would Nimra like want to take her? But I go back to, let's say it was Nimra. Nimra interrupted the whole thing, and let's say Madame X, you know, from a different time was like, oh, hey guys, you two are fighting. Yeah, I don't like you two. I'm just gonna take this little girl right here. All right, bye. You two have fun. Bye. And then she's gone with the win. Because again, you know, the term Zen, as I looked at it before, it's like foreign and like different like terms for it, which means like they weren't originally from here, but they just like up and appeared out of nowhere. So I feel like I'm not wording it right, but to keep it simple, in some way, shape, and form, Malia is Marionette or has some sort of connection with her. Really interesting that they added that. That's really huge, honestly. And really unexpected, honestly. Really, really cool indeed. Anyways, we're out of spoiler territory now. I will just leave it at that because there's not a whole lot else I can really say on that whole thing. Where am I now? No way. This room, it's... Hey, over here. You might want to take a look at this. That's really interesting because like back then we ended up in the one room, but... Oh, okay, so there's that there. I'm not sure if we should be messing with this. That dream we had was way too weird. We've come this far, we may as well finish. This box has a couple of things in it. There's an envelope with a note and what seems to be 2 tickets. What does the note say? Your truths will be revealed in the blaze of glory at the Grand Dream Ball. Grand Dream Ball? It's just some event they have where they showcase plans for the city in the upcoming year and such. Only problem is that the ball happens pretty soon after our time at the tourney. Don't worry, with Happy we can get anywhere we want pretty fast. Oh, and it looks like there's one last thing in that box. It's actually for you, Malia. For me? Yep, this file, it says Project Rapture on it. Does the name ring any bells? I can't say it does. Might as well check it out. Okay, so they didn't really change this whole thing, just the environment that it happens in. Malia, are you doing okay? You're trembling. It can't be true. This has to be a lie. Relax. If you yell, you might get us caught. Give me the file. I want to take a look at it. Thank you. So they seem to definitely change it up quite a bit. Still probably the same text, but it looks different. I like it. Project Rapture Confidentiality, rank 5? S5, whatever that is. I think 5. Tomato. Participants, Professor Jenner, and of course you have Karina over there. Any information in this file should not be disclosed to any storm chasers besides Jenner and Karina. Project Rapture is the process of deceiving Malia into joining the storm chasers. Jenner shall be given the snag machine by Redacted. Now that's interesting. I wonder who Redacted is. He is then to notify Team Zen of Malia's presence at Goldenwood Forest. Can I... Oh, it's arrow keys, I see. Now, I wonder if Redacted... I don't want to say their names, but I want to go back to a certain someone that kind of like pulled up on us with Ren and I and Rylan, Reyna, Pew. Maybe him and the other girl that's around with him. I don't know. When this happens, Malia is to flee Goldenwood Forest and return to Eastgaren Laboratory. Jenner will then send her the route 2, where Spacia and Tempa will appear before her. They will give her the offer. Karina's position is to distract any companions of Malia. Anyone who decides to aid her shall be thrown off the main path. We have entrusted the TM Rock Smash to her for this very reason, The following info should not be disclosed to Jenner. After Project Rapture is complete, eradication of Jenner status shall proceed. More info shall be noted in file eradication. Project Rapture, confidentiality rank S. Okay, it's an S. The Storm Chasers are the group you were affiliated with, yes? Yeah. So they used the professor to get closer to you somehow, and once their plan was complete, they were going to get rid of him. Back on Terrajuma, he told me there was something he wished to say to me, but that he couldn't. This is probably what he was referring to. And in the end, though, he gave up his life to save yours. So, do these documents really change anything? No, it really just means my life was scripted out from the moment I was born, and that people I thought I trusted were a part of it, Karina included. It happens. No use losing your mind over it, though. I have to wonder if this is the reason why Crescent went rogue. Let's not jump to conclusions. You know, it's funny how destiny works sometimes. My dad pushed me to become a gym leader, a role I was never able to fulfill, but after all the betrayals and the threats of my life, I still ended up here, in the place that was supposed to be my gym. Huh. I thought this belonged to that Lavender girl. It was supposed to be for me, but I guess Lavender got it after I wasn't able to attend. I always thought I'd be battling trainers here and just living my life. Is that something you still want? Well, that dream is kind of detached from reality at this point, but sometimes I still wish it wasn't. It doesn't have to be a dream. Grand Dream City allegedly is all about making dreams come true. Let's make yours true. Right here, right now. What? Let's have a battle here in your gym. I'll be your very first opponent. Aaron, let's just do this before I change my mind. Alright, sorry for the pause there. We're back now. Anyways. Now listen, I'm not a trainer. Don't expect some impressive fight on my part. All that matters is that you're here willing to do this. That's all I could ever ask for. Yeah, on guard and all of that. And then let's see, 56. Okay. Candid girl Aaron would like the battle. Butterfree, patience, that's kind of a no-brainer, just go for Fire Punch. Even if it landed, I'm not really worried about it, honestly. Even if it starts going for Quiver, I think what did I go into you? That is a great question. I'm throwing. That was such a terrible switch in. Just take a Unity. I think Happy's okay. Yeah. Let's go into peace. Could have fun, go for superpower. I meant to go for Aqua Jet, sorry. That's my fault. Go for SD. Play rough, should take it out. I guess not. Little surprised. Oh, it's level 77, I just saw that. Okay. I'm surprised back then I thought it was Mega Absol. I guess they nerfed it a little bit. And then I think as long as we can wake up, we should be okay. The burn didn't really matter, honestly. Okay, maybe it kind of did. I don't know, honestly, but yeah, I ain't gonna lie. I played this battle horrifically. I could have done that way, way better. Yeah, but that's okay. That's okay. We got the win. Overall, you really shouldn't have much difficulties with this one. This was the expected outcome, but I had fun. What's important is that we had fun. Isn't that what people say after they lose or something? It sure is. I don't think battling will ever be for me, but I will admit that I did have some fun in that fight, thanks. Aaron, I just don't really have many opportunities to feel this way, so whenever I do, I don't know how to act. I don't understand. I never really had any real friends. I never had real parents. I've never had a real life of my own. I just did the same routine over and over. But all of that changed when Alita appeared. Suddenly it felt like I was finally a part of something. Something that gives my life some sort of worth and meaning. I just wanted to say that I appreciate you all. You, Hugh, Lavender, Venom, Alon, Alita, Cannon, everyone that's been with me so far. Thank you all for breaking me out of my own prison. We'd be there to break you on out no matter what. Because now you're part of our group, our family. We have to look after each other. Because when we're out there fighting evil, there won't be anyone but us. Yeah, you're right. Thank you, Malia. That's really interesting, because like, yes, I'll save here. And real quick, that is cool. Well, that's new. I guess we're just pulling up on her then. But anyways, I was gonna say, it's interesting that, I don't know why, I remember back then that, I guess they decided to like tone it down a little bit. I might be mistaken, but I thought like Aaron kind of like opened up to Malia a little more, like talked about like her issues with like depression and all of that. I might be wrong on that though, but I thought the older version they did do that. And what's kind of like sad too is after the battle, I remember they did like the whole thing where like, well, no, that happens later. That happens later when they sit together and like hug each other. That's later. That's a slight spoiler. Not really, it's just a hug. It's not that big of a deal. Anyways, I'm done. I'm gonna stop before I say too much more. We'll do this all next episode, so yeah. I love you guys. Take care of yourselves out there. And good morning. I love you guys. Again, I'm being repetitive. Take care of yourselves. Drink some water. Take care of your mental health, physical health, maybe even spiritual health if you're religious. Do good, be well. Yada yada yada. You get the point. I love you guys. Take care of yourselves. Good morning. Stay safe out there.